Round two.
Round two. Hope man.
We have to talk about the SDCC 2024 MCU announcement, Genesis. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna get this.
So I think I lied on the quote. I don't think I said SDCC, but San Diego Comic-Con would have been too long. But whatever. So some stuff went viral. It didn't. This man with these glasses and the green cloak and the mask, it didn't go viral?
Nope.
Okay.
Not one bit.
I don't even know what to say about this. My first reaction was, can somebody else get some food in their mouth?
Yeah. I thought that too. I mean, I was excited just because I like Robert Downey Jr. Way back to the 80s. This has nothing to do with Iron Man.
Dang, this sound like
No.
Jamie Lee?
No, I'm just saying, I knew people who were like, I didn't even know who that was till Iron Man. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But, well, not weird for you.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say with certainty that I had seen any movie that he had been in before Iron Man.
But regardless, I have been a fan of Robert Downey Jr. My point is, since the 80s.
Okay.
But it does seem kind of weird to me, like you just got off Iron Man and now you're a whole nother character. Like, I'm excited, but I was also like, could have been, that seems weird.
So whatever they did worked. I'm only excited about Avengers Doomsday because he's in it.
Yep.
I will say that. I will give it that. However, if the Fantastic Four leads up into this and blah blah blah, and they're gonna help fight and blah, I don't care anything about Fantastic Four. I'm just throwing it out there.
Never seen it.
I don't care if they were the first family, fifth family, sixth. I don't care. I don't generally like Fantastic Four. I don't necessarily care about the Avengers, just if we're going to be completely honest, but I care even less about the Fantastic Four. So what they did, I guess, worked, because now I'm interested just to see where they go with this, because I don't think he's Doom.
I don't either.
Right.
And my bigger question is why? When he was announced, I looked at it and I was like, why?
So based on comic book or whatever you know of it,
the lore,
is this even a good fit?
If he hadn't been Tony Stark and Iron Man, which he's now cemented himself as Iron Man. So when we talk about Iron Man 20 years from now, it's gonna be like, oh, well, this guy's playing Iron Man now. No, it's never gonna beat Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. I would say this would be a perfect fit. The problem I have with it, though, is, one, aren't you going to let someone else eat?
Yeah, get some food in their mouth.
You going to get some food in their mouth?
He might very well be the best actor for it, but I can't see this one being Victor Von Doom.
No.
I think it will be a Tony Stark variant who's calling himself Doom.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's a waste. Honestly, I think it's a waste. If you're gonna have Doom in there, let it be. Do some justice to Victor Von Doom. Doom is a Thanos level villain, and we have what I can only imagine is going to be, again, a variant of Tony Stark being Doom. And it just doesn't feel like I'm not a fan of that. Just because, let me have my thoughts of Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man only, and get me another A-list. I'm not even an A-list actor, just a good character actor to come in and do Victor Von Doom. And I feel like we've been kind of ripped away, or that's been stolen from us by choosing Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
It's the Russo brothers. I'm going to trust, based off of their history of movies, I'm going to trust their vision and their script and what they have for it. But I can't help but feel this is Kevin Feige overcorrecting for the mistakes of the past couple of phases.
Yeah.
Well, but that kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Me personally, I don't really necessarily feel like, well, there have been mistakes, but I don't think we're going to agree on what the mistakes were, right? But every time someone takes a shot, these are bad, and and every time you do that and you lose another 10,000 people watching your movies, every time it happens, right? Like you backed into a corner where you have to come out swinging. especially with what happened with Jonathan Majors.
But is this?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I understand why they did it.
I get it.
Right. I get it.
I'm not saying I don't get it. Right. I do get it.
Wait, why do you think they did it?
Because they're trying to rebuild whatever goodwill they had, perception-wise, of phases 1 through 3.
So, for example, if they would have done what Ray is suggesting and just get a different actor to come in and play Doom, and then you just announce an Avengers Doom movie with this random actor, a lot of people will just look at this as yet another phase 4, phase 5 movie, phase 6, whenever it comes out. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't like the movies. I ain't like that. Everybody says they're bad. So why would I watch this one? Well, I will watch this one now because Iron Man is in it.
Yeah. And for me, it's the Russo brothers. Right. Bringing back the Russo brothers was a huge thing. You've got the 2 best Avengers movies and Captain America movie from the Russo brothers. But you had to do one more big draw you in event so that we know you're going to watch. Right. Well, guess what? Robert Downey Jr.'s back. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Who's he playing? Is he playing Iron Man? He's playing Dr. Doom. You know, and so suddenly...
So now there's the... Well, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
It's the, you know... So what? How do you feel about a Fantastic Four? Yet another Fantastic Four. Another reboot. This... Are we getting a Fantastic Four reboot before we get X-Men? Is that I don't. Yeah,
we are.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Because I'm like, this is crazy to me.
Well, here's the thing. I never minded the Fantastic Four movies. You know, they were cheesy as hell, but
they were so bad.
It's what they needed to be. And Fox 4 at the time, this was the setup that they needed for their universe, right? No, good or bad, it didn't matter. That early 2000s look at comic book movies, this is still what it was about. Like, I look at Fantastic Four as being that bridge between the goofiness that came before to the seriousness it would later become, and kind of that first stepping stone. So I didn't mind the first 2 Fantastic Four movies. In fact, if I go back and watch them, I have a little bit more reverence for them, you know, and I see them in a little bit of a different light, and I respect them for what they were doing. The problem is, though,
the difference I have now from now and then is just I just have a different trash can. Yeah. I had a plastic trash can back then, Rubbermaid probably.
You went from a 5-cross shredder to a 12-cross shredder.
And now I have a Human Touch.
Yeah, there you go.
Human Touch, not Human Torch, but a Human Touch trash can. So that's the only difference.
It's to me, the problem with it is the best Fantastic Four movie we got was The Incredibles. And that's just, it touched on every point that a Fantastic Four movie would touch on. I think the best thing that Fantastic Four is doing is making it a period piece, and going back to the 60s with it. That's probably their best thing. The fact that we're going to get a Galactus, to me, it's going to be very comic book driven on that. So that will be different than what came before. Do I need to see this before I need to see an X-Men movie? No, I wish they would have brought in X-Men a little bit sooner.
I mean, that's the weird thing about this, right? And it was always the thing with Square Enix, right? You had this ace, right? You had this thing. You had Final Fantasy VII Remake that everybody wanted, everybody was asking for, yet you kept putting it to the side and putting other things out first that were flailing a little bit and sometimes completely failing. It's the same thing here. You have this thing. Now, don't get me wrong. If you F it up, I'm going to be extremely pissed. So don't F it. Don't rush it to F it up. But at the same time, you have this thing, right? This thing, X-Men. And it's just like you just do everything else but that.
Well, I think part of that, too, is...
You put out a Ant-Man movie where ants ate Kang.
If my memory serves me correctly, another reason they're waiting on the X-Men movie is because with the purchase of Fox came the purchase of the contracts with the actors involved. And it's stated that the vast majority of their major actors or characters had contracts through 2025 that says if you put out any other representation, you have to use me as the actor. So I think that's why we're seeing this hold on X-Men until 2025, 2026. But again, that goes back to what we're seeing here and going back to Robert Downey Jr. I'm interested. I'm involved. I think they should have gave this to somebody else. I really I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not saying that he's going to do a bad job. I think he will do a fantastic job at it.
Right.
And he's played a villain before, and I think seeing that side of him again will be telling for the Avengers. The other thing is Avengers Doomsday. Wow, what a backhand to DC to show them how to do it right. I'm curious if that was on purpose.
You just put a villain in the movie and don't promote it ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, oh, he was there. Oh, now he's not. Okay.
But I am invested in Avengers Secret Wars because that should see the different heroes coming together from different multiverses,
right?
To set everything back into as we come to find out what is the sacred timeline.
My only problem with Secret Wars, and you look back at it like Secret Invasion, right? The time in between to me is the problem.
Well, Secret Wars and Secret Invasion, two different things.
But when are they gonna talk about the invasion of?
I think they're gonna let that one go.
I don't think so. Because I feel like that's how you can incorporate these other
Secret Wars was not Secret Invasion in the books.
Right.
In the books had nothing to do with one another. I don't think that the movies will have anything to do with one another.
Because I just feel like that's the easy transition.
No, I don't.
That's the easy transition of you got variants, so that helps you transition into away from Fox or into Fox or however you want to do that.
Or a proper merger.
Right, a proper merger. But then you also have the race of shapeshifters that can help with that.
Shapeshifters?
Yeah.
Star Trek?
Yeah.
It was never, those two worlds never collided in the books that way. And with us having, maybe it might have been a better point to maybe change the names of them to not confuse the average moviegoer. Comic book moviegoer, they're going to see the separate and not throw a fuss at it. But to your point, for the average moviegoer, do you have to acknowledge them as well, which I think brings us to Deadpool.
You got anything else before we get to Deadpool?
Nope.
Sure?
No, I'm good. We'll see how this goes,
Well, we'll see some years from now.